We mentioned before that microeconomics based on two theories: theory of demand, which explain the behavior of consumer. From other hand, theory of supply, which explains the behavior of producer or supplier. Demand function explains the behavior of consumer, while supply function explains the behavior of producer. So the main theories of microeconomics is the theory of demand and theory of supply. The supply of goods and services depends on the production of goods and services. Therefore, production function also explains the behavior of supplier. In economics, we distinguish between two periods of time: short run period and long run period. So we are going to apply this difference in the sphere of production, respectively costs, revenue and profit functions. So we distinguish between production in the short run period and the production in the long run period. Now, here I would like to state that the production process explains the production of goods and services in a certain period of time by the combination of various factors of production. The production process or the production itself means a mix of various factors of production in order to produce goods and services. Theory of production. The main three golden points: production, distribution and consumption. The points of golden triangle. Production is an activity that transforms inputs into outputs. الإنتاج هو نشاط يؤدي إلى تحويل المدخلات إلى مخرجات، أو يؤدي إلى تحويل عوامل الإنتاج إلى سلع وخدمات. For example, sugar mill uses inputs like labor, raw materials, sugar cane, capital invested in machinery, factory, building to produce sugar. Production is an activity نشاط يؤدي إلى تحويل المدخلات إلى مخرجات. The process of transformation is known as production process العملية الإنتاجية. Transformation means production process عملية إنتاجية. What factors affecting production؟ ما هي العوامل التي تؤثر على الإنتاج؟ Technology, cost, firms production behavior سلوك الشركة أو المصنع السلوك الإنتاجي يحدد على أساس المستوى التكنولوجي في هذه الشركة. Firms production behavior is determined by what? By the state of technology. وضع التقنية في هذا المصنع أو الشركة. Modern or high level of technology increases production of the firm irrespective of the size of a firm or kind of management. بغض النظر عن المستوى التكنولوجي. The relation between the state of technology or the level of technology and the level of production is direct. إذن أهم العوامل التقنية من أهم العوامل التي تؤثر على حجم الإنتاج. Inputs المدخلات. There are wide variety of inputs used by firm. هناك مدخلات كثيرة جدا بتستغلها الشركات أو المصانع لإنتاج السلع والخدمات. raw material مواد الخام. labor عمل labor services. machine tools الآلات الميكانيكية أو الأدوات الميكانيكية. buildings المباني etc. Inputs are divided into two main groups. Fixed and variable inputs. Fixed factor or variable factor. عوامل إنتاج ثابتة وعوامل إنتاج متغيرة. A fixed input cannot change in the process of production, like building, but the variable inputs like labor is changed in the process of production. Inputs of factor of production has two forms: fixed factor and variable factors of production, or fixed inputs or variable inputs. The division of inputs is allowed by the period, short run period and long run period. So this is a two raw materials, labor, power, etc. Number 3, time period of production. It plays very important role. The fixity or variability of an input depends on the time period. Time periods are short and long. الزمن في الاقتصاد بيقسم إلى فترات، فترة طويلة الأجل وفترة قصيرة الأجل. So the production function itself has two forms: function in the short run period and function in the short run period. دالة قصيرة الأجل، دالة إنتاجية قصيرة الأجل، ودالة إنتاجية طويلة الأجل. In short run period, some of firms' inputs are fixed, whereas in long term all the inputs are variable. في الفترة قصيرة الأجل هنالك مدخلات ثابتة وهناك مدخلات متغيرة. أما في الفترة طويلة الأجل فكل المدخلات تعتبر متغيرة. The change of production in the short run period is controlled by law of diminishing return, law of variable proportions، قانون النسب المتغيرة أو قانون تناقص القلة، law of diminishing returns or return to a factor. This law becomes applicable يعني قابل للتطبيق when we increase one factor of production, variable factor of production, while keeping other factors constant. عندما أغير عنصر الإنتاج المتغير مثلا العمل بوحدة واحدة مع ثبات عنصر رأس المال، في هذه الحالة يسري قانون تناقص القلة. Now, the validity of this law leads to appearance of three phases. First phase, production increases at increasing rate. أولا بيزيد الإنتاج بمعدل متزايد. Second, production increases at decreasing rate. سيزيد الإنتاج لكن معدل متناقص. The last phase, production decreases. So the application of the law of diminishing return leads to three circumstances due to the change in the level of production. تطبيق هذا القانون يؤدي إلى ثلاث حالات من حالات الإنتاج: يزيد الإنتاج أولا بمعدل متزايد، ثم يزيد بمعدل متناقص، ثم يتناقص. Production increases at increasing rate, production increasing but at decreasing rate. The last phase, production decreases. The assumption of the law، فرضيات هذا القانون: one factor is increased while other factors are kept constant. تغير عنصر إنتاج واحد مع ثبات العنصر الآخر. Various units of variable factors are homogeneous. وحدات العنصر المتغير يجب أن تكون متجانسة. Other factors or conditions of production are constant مع ثبات العناصر التي تؤثر على الإنتاج: تكنولوجيا، المناخ، أسلوب الإنتاج is said to be constant. types of inputs factor. There are various terms which indicates or describe the inputs. Inputs is a factor of production. It is an economic resources. It is tools of production. These terms can be used interchangeably to indicate the same thing. So, type of inputs factors or types of factors of production or types of economic resources or types of tools of production. So let's see what do we mean by inputs and how to distinguish between two inputs or two factors. Fixed inputs or fixed factors are those factors that quantity of which remains constant irrespective of the level of output produced by a firm. For example, land, buildings, machines, tools, equipment, superior types of labor, top management, etc. So, fixed inputs or fixed factors remain constant. Remain constant irrespective of the level of output produced by a firm. So, the presence of fixed input doesn't put into account the starting period of production. While variable inputs or variable factors are those factors that the quantity of which varies or varies with variations in the levels of output produced by a firm. For example, labor itself, of course, raw materials, water, transport, or fuel, and communication. The change in the process, the change of the quantity of production depends on the change of variable inputs. Okay. Fixed inputs and variable inputs denotes the short run period of production. In the long run period, there is no fixed inputs or variable inputs. This classification suitable to the short run period of time, because in the long run period all inputs are subject to change. This diagram illustrates the production process. Production process consists of three phases: inputs, process, and output. Given, for example, three factors of production: land or nature in some cases, labor, and capital. This under the process square process of production means the process of combination these three inputs in order. The goal or objective is to produce goods and services or output. The arrow shows that inputs to the process, from the process to output. Summarizedly, this is known as the production process. The production process means the process of mixing various inputs in order to produce goods and services, which known also as outputs. Definition: production function expresses a functional or technical relationship between physical inputs and physical outputs of a company or firm at any particular period of time. Production function actually is the relation between the output is just a function of inputs. That means output is a dependent variable. No, dependent variable, while inputs are independent variable. The quantity as well as quality of goods and services is depending upon inputs. That is why inputs are considered as independent variable, while output are dependent variable. The factors used for production are called inputs. The production we get is called output or outputs. The production function is the name given to the relationship between the rates of productive services and the rate of output of the product. Stigler articulates. So the production function is the name given to what? Given. So the production function expresses the relation between two variables or two factors, inputs and output. Output is depending upon inputs. So the production function, if the name is known as the relationship between the rates of productive services, the rate between brackets or process, let us see, productive services means inputs, and the rates of output of the product, goods and services. So three main statements. The output is thus a function of inputs. The factors used for production are called inputs. The production we get is called output. According to Michel R.B., the production function is that function which defines the maximum amount of output that can be produced with a given set of inputs. This definition belongs to Michel by production function is that function which defines the maximum amount of output that can be produced with a given set of inputs. This statement is based on the following assumption. The production is related to a particular of time in a certain period of time, 3 months, 4 months, year, etc. There is no change in technology. So this statement assumes that technology is constant. Number 3, the producer uses the best available technique. Technique is different from technology. The production can be fitted easier to long or short term period of time. So this is what we mentioned before. The application of production function can be utilized in the short-run period or in the long-run period. Utilization of inputs at maximum level of efficiency. Later we will try to distinguish between efficiency and effectiveness. Production function can be expressed in a mathematical equation. Or function. The relationship between Q and the factors of production can be designed in a functional design as below. Q depends, so the quantity of product depends on K, L, N, M, where Q stands for the quantity of output, K stands for capital, L for labor, N for nature or land, and M for management. These are classical factors of production. So, economic resources can be classified as capital, labor, nature or land, and management. So the quantity of the product depends on the rate of each of the mentioned factors of production. Each period of time for production is controlled by a specific law. Here we are talking about the law which control the change of product in the short run period, and the law which control the change of product in the long run period. Particularly, we mean the law of diminishing return. This law explains or controls the change of product in the short run period, and the law of scale, which explains the change of product in the long run period. So the law of diminishing return, or the law of variable proportions, is the law which explains the change in production in the short run period. So, law of variable proportions, it is also known as the law of diminishing returns, or returns to a factor. This law becomes applicable when we increase one factor of production, mainly variable factor, while keeping other factors constant. The output will increase, but after some time, addition to variable factors will reduce the total output at a diminishing rate. Therefore, this law states if one factor is used more and more, keeping the other factors constant, the total output will increase at increasing rate in the beginning and then at diminishing rate and eventually decrease absolutely. So the production in the short run period, when one factor is constant or fixed and the other factor of production is variable, the quantity of product will pass 3 stages. So, production will increase at increasing rate. Secondly, will increase but at decreasing rate. And the last phase will decrease. So the 3 circumstances are: product will increase at increasing rate. Put into account, we are talking about rate. Will increase at increasing rate. So what do we mean by increasing rate? So at the beginning will increase by 3 units, for example. Nextly by 4 units and by 5 units, 5 unit, 6 unit, etc. So the rate of changing will increase: 1, then 2, then 3, etc. Secondly, will increase but at decreasing rate. For example, the first stage, the quantity of product increased by 4 units. The next stage, the product will increase but by 3 units. Next by 2 units. Next by 1 unit, etc. The last will decrease. The application of this law is conditionally. So the conditions of application of this law are: only one factor is increased while other factors are kept constant. Various units of variable factors are homogeneous like each other. Homogeneous. Condition of production like production methods, climatic conditions, technology, and others are constant. This is known as the law of diminishing return. First, it controls the change in product in the short run period. This law assumes that one factor is fixed while other factors, labor for example, is variable. So the 3 stages are: product will increase at increasing rate, next will increase but at decreasing rate, and the last phase, it will decrease. This law is depending upon the following conditions: one factor is change, is variable, while other is constant, fixed. The various units or variable factors are homogeneous. So the level of technology is constant. The level of technology is constant. terms of the law of the diminishing returns. Oftenly we use the following three terms to explain the application of the law of diminishing returns. TP stands for total production of goods and services. Total product refers to the total amount of output that a firm produces within a given period of time utilizing given inputs. So TP stands for total product. AP stands for average product, equal total product over labor. Is a way companies to measure the total product produced using a particular combination of inputs, capital and labor in our case. We assumed before the law considers that the variable factor of production is labor and the fixed factor of production is capital. That's why average product is a relation between total product and labor. MP stands for marginal product, and it resulting from the change in total product over the change in labor. Change in total product resulting from the change in labor by 1 unit refers to the change results from employing an added unit of labor. So we are talking about three terms: total product, average product, and marginal product. The significance of these three terms is to explain or calculate the change in total product resulting from the change in labor, assuming that labor is a variable factor while capital is a fixed factor. This table illustrates the application of the law of diminishing return. Given 10 levels of labor and total product, average product and marginal product. So total product, average product, marginal product, as mentioned before, as the terms which explain the application of the law. Here I would like to remind you that the change in total product depends on the change of labor product. May fixed product capital is fixed or constant. So when the company employs 1 unit of labor, the total product equal average product and equal marginal product. So the company attracts the second unit of labor, total product increases from 80 units up to 170 units. In the second stage, which we are following, the average product is the relation between total product and labor. So 170 over 2 equal 85. The next marginal product is 90. It's the relation between the change in total product to the change in labor. This is about 170 minus 80 over 2 minus 1. 170 minus 80 equal 90. 90 over 2 minus 1 equal 90 over 1 equal 90. In the third stage, firm attracts the third employee or labor. So the employment of the third unit of labor increased the total production from 170 up to 270. So respectively, the average product equal 270 over 3 equal 90, and the marginal product is 270 minus 170 equal 100 over 3 minus 2 equal 1. Later we will neglect the change in labor because it's equal 1. So 100 over 1 equal 100. So this the stage of increasing rate finished. Now the employment of the fourth unit of labor led to the increase of total product up to 368, and the average product, which equal 368 over 4 equal 96, and marginal product equal 98. So the number 4 or the fourth unit of labor, decrease the marginal product from 100 to 98. So the three steps when the company employed one unit and the next second unit and the third unit of labor, this is known as stage of the increasing of product at increasing rate. From 4 up to 6, this is a stage of the increasing of product at decreasing rate. From 4 up to 7, the point where the increase of product at decreasing rate. So when the company utilize the labor, the increase of total product equal 0, which indicated by the marginal product equal 0. From 8 up to 10, we face the decrease of total product. 504, the 9 495, the 10th 480. So 98, check the column of marginal product. 98, the last stage of the increasing at increasing rate, or the increase at increasing rate. The 7 indicates that the end of increase at decreasing rate. Then 0, -9, -15, -9, -15, the decrease. Even 0, -9, -15, it doesn't decrease but equal. 504 equal 504 respectively, therefore marginal product equal 0. From 9 up to 10, we face the decrease of total product. This is an application of the law. Usually we assume various levels of labor and various levels of total product, and we require to find average product and marginal product. Law of scale, as mentioned before, law of diminishing return specializes in explaining the change in product in the short-term period, while law of scale is aimed to explain the change in product in the long-run period. The law of scale passes 3 stages Stage 1, increasing returns. Stage 2, decreasing returns. Stage 3 is constant returns. Let's see what do we mean by increasing returns. As the production of one factor in the combination of factor is increased up to a point, the marginal product of the factor will increase. Some statements articulate that in case of increasing returns, the percentage change in product is more than the product change in economic resources. So the percentage change in Q or in TP, total product, is more than the percentage change in inputs. The reasons of increasing returns are indivisibility of factors, which is some indivisibility of factors, quantity of fixed factor, division of labor, and economies. These four reasons affect the increasing returns. Stage 2 is diminishing return. At the production of one factor in the combination of factor is increased after a point of the average and marginal product of the factor will diminishing. Reasons are scarcity of fixed factors, indivisibility of fixed factor, lack of perfect substitution of factor of production. These are the reasons of diminishing returns. Some statements articulate that diminishing returns means the percentage change in total product less than the percentage change in factors of production. These two stages, let's move to introduce with the stage number 4. Stage 3, negative returns, where MP, marginal product of variable factor, is negative. Reasons are excessive variable factor, inefficiency of fixed factor. Other literature states that Stage 3 is constant returns. Constant returns indicate that the percentage change in total product equal the percentage change in production factors. It is a long run analysis. Here we would like to emphasize the essence of the law of returns to scale. It is a long run analysis and all factors are variable, and it seeks to analyze the effects of a scale on the level of outputs. Three kinds of returns to scale: increasing return to scale, constant return to scale, and decreasing returns to scale. This is about negative and, as I mentioned, constant returns to scale. Isoquant. Iso means equal. Isoquant is a curve representing the various combinations of two inputs that produce the same amount of output. Also, it's called as equal product curve. The slope of an isoquant indicates the rate at which factors K and L can be substituted for each other while a constant level of production is maintained. So, for example, 1 unit of capital plus 2 units of labor can produce 10 units of product. Also the same, 2 units of capital and 1 unit of labor also can produce the same quantity equal 10 of products. Isoquant is a curve representing the various combinations. Various combinations means 5 of capital and 10 of labor, or 10 of labor and 5 of capital, of two inputs, 2 only the condition, that produce the same amount of output. It's called also equal product curve. The slope of an isoquant curve indicates the rate at which factors K and L can be substituted for each other, while the quantity of product is constant. Isoquant is based on the following assumptions. There are two inputs, labor L and capital C or K, to produce a quantity or a commodity X. L, K, and X are perfectly divisible and technology of product is given. The SC, the features of isoquants properties. Isoquants are negatively inclined. Isoquants are convex, not concave, of course, to the origin. Two isoquants cannot intersect each other. Isoquant does not touch either axis. This is about the isoquant curve. Isoquant curve. Cobb-Douglas function. This function is discovered by J. Drexel and first tested by Cobb-Douglas. And by Cobb and Douglas in 1925. This famous statistical production function is known as Cobb-Douglas production function. This function takes the following mathematical form: y equal ak power alpha L power alpha minus 1. K is a parameter. A is a parameter of coefficient of K, where Y is output, K is capital, L is labor, A and alpha are positive constant. This function is depending upon the following assumptions. It assumes that output is the function of two factors, capital and labor. They are constant return to scale. Constant return to scale. Because this function focuses on the change of two products respectively. It centers in long run period. They are constant return to scale. All inputs are homogeneous. There is perfect competition. There is no change in technology. There is no change in technology. This is about a Cobb-Douglas function. Linear production function. The linear homogeneous production function implies that with the proportionate change in all the factors of production, the output also increases in the same proportion. such as if input factor are double, the output also gets doubled. So the relation between the change in inputs and outputs is direct. This is also known as constant return to scale. The production function is said to be homogeneous when the elasticity of substitution is equal to 1. Very good. The linear homogeneous production function can be used in the empirical studies because it can handle it wisely. That's why it's used in linear programming and input-output analysis. This is about linear production function. Linear production function example. Consider the linear production function equal Q FKL equal 2L plus K. What is the short-term production function given that capital is fixed at K equal 100 and L equal 10? Let's substitute the givens. 2L plus K equal 2 times 10 plus 100 equal 120. Marginal product Leontief production function. In economics, the Leontief production function or fixed proportion production function is a production function that implies the factors of production which will be used in fixed technologically predetermined proportion as there are no substitutionary between factors. It was named after Vasily Leontief and represents a limiting case of the constant elasticity of substitution production function. The Leontief production function Q equal mean between brackets 5.5K, 6.7 L. That means capital K and labor are used in fixed proportions at a constant ratio of K to L, 5.5 to 6.7, to produce amount of Q output while capital and labor are not substitute. Capital and labor are not substitutable.